this video, we will be learning 3 new pairs of angles that are created by parallel lines and transversals. First, let's discuss what a transversal is. So if you look at this diagram, you see the 2 lines L and M are parallel to each other. And there's a third line that intersects those parallel lines. That third line is what is called the transversal. So you'll hear the word transversal used throughout this video, so just make sure that you are aware of which line we are referring to when we are using the term transversal. Okay, our first new angle pair is called corresponding angles. These angles are congruent to each other, and they are on the same side of the transversal and in the same position. What we mean by in the same position is that they are angles like angles 1 and 3. So if you notice, they are both on the same side of the transversal. They're both on this left side of the transversal, and they are both in the same position. So angle 1 is kind of on this top left of these 4 angles, and angle 3 is also in the top left position down here in these 4 angles. So those are what we call corresponding angles. They're the same measurement, and they are on the same side of the transversal in the same position. Another example is 2 and 4, 5 and 7, and 6 and 8. If you need more time to write this down or color in your notes, pause the video and do so now. Our second new pair of angles is called alternate interior angles. These angles are also congruent. They are on the opposite sides of the transversal, and they are between the parallel lines. An example of alternate interior angles are 5 and 4, and 6 and 3. So notice they are between the 2 parallel lines, and they are on opposite sides of the transversal. They also sort of crisscross diagonally from one another because they have to be the same measurements. So 6 and 3 and 5 and 4. And our third and final new pair of angles is called alternate exterior angles. These are also congruent. These are also on opposite sides of the transversal. And the only difference between these and the last ones is that these ones are outside the parallel lines instead of between or inside the parallel lines. An example of alternate exterior angles are 1 and 8 and 2 and 7. So again, we get that sort of crisscrossing where they cross the transversal and they're kind of diagonal from one another to find the ones that are the same measurement. In the diagram, line M is parallel to line L. If the measure of angle 2 equals 137 degrees, find the measures of the following angles. This is enough information to help you find all other 7 angle measures. If you take a look at angle 2, we know that there are several other angles that also equal 137. We know angle 4 is 137 because 2 and 4 are corresponding. We know 7 is also 137 because 2 and 7 are alternate exterior angles. And then therefore we also know that 5 is 137, and you can explain this of several different ways. 5 and 7 are corresponding, so therefore they are congruent. 5 and 4 are alternate interior angles and therefore congruent. Or you could even say 2 and 5 are vertical angles. Same with 4 and 7, which makes them congruent. So now we have 4 of the angles taken care of. How can we find the next set of 4? Well, you might notice that angles 1 and 2 add up to 180 degrees because they make a straight line. So we would simply need to do 180 minus 137, which gives us 43 degrees for angle 1, and then also angle 3, angle 6, and angle 8. For similar reasons as we discussed with the others. So 180 minus 137 is 43, and that gives us the remaining 4 angle measures. Here's a few example practice problems if you would like some additional review. P and V are what we call alternate exterior angles. S and W are what we call corresponding angles. R and T are what we call alternate interior angles. P and R are what we call vertical angles. And finally, P and Q are both adjacent and supplementary.